Hello, class. So today's lesson, I'm going to talk about theory versus hypothesis. We're going to do a little bit of claims evidence reasoning practice as well. So let's just jump right into it. Theory versus hypothesis. So I'm going to show you a couple of statements, and just in your head, with what you already know, decide if it is a theory or a hypothesis. And then afterwards, I'll go ahead and define them for you. Germs are microorganisms that can cause disease. Theory or hypothesis? Next one. Students who get at least 6 hours of sleep each night perform better on tests. Atoms contain protons, neutrons, and electrons. Is that a theory or a hypothesis? People who drink soda just before going to bed take longer to fall asleep than people who don't. More crime takes place during the full moon. Theory or hypothesis? Gravity holds objects to the surface of the earth. All right, let's see how you did. This was the first one. Germs are microorganisms that can cause disease. This is a theory. Now remember, I'll explain the difference between a theory and a hypothesis afterwards. I just want to see if you can formulate a definition in your head on your own as I go through these answers. Students who get at least 6 hours of sleep each night perform better on tests. That is a hypothesis. Atoms contain protons, neutrons, and electrons. That one was a theory. People who drink soda just before going to bed take longer to fall asleep than people who don't. That one was a hypothesis. More crime takes place during the full moon. Hypothesis. Gravity holds objects to the surface of the earth. Theory. Okay, so let me explain why one was a theory and one was a hypothesis. So here are some definitions, okay? Theory, an explanation supported by many experiments. It is still subject to new experimental data and can be modified, and is considered valid if it can be used to make predictions that are proven true. So in other words, a theory has evidence to support it, okay? It is an explanation of something, whereas a hypothesis is simply a tentative, testable statement or prediction about what has been observed. A hypothesis is something you can test, okay? Think about the example with the soda and going to bed. That is something that can easily be tested, right? Drink a soda, get a group of people, give them a soda, time how long it takes for them to fall asleep. Then you have your control group. Don't give them soda, time how long it takes for them to fall asleep. Do that a couple of times to get some consistent results, and you have just tested that hypothesis. Now, when we start talking about claims, evidence, and reasoning, that deals more with theories, okay? We're giving evidence, and we are explaining how that evidence supports the theory. People see the word theory and they think it is equivalent to hypothesis, and that's not true. The two are completely different. Oh, it's just a theory. or the theory of the case you see on crime shows. And no. Theory actually has a lot of evidence to support it. A theory is an explanation. The reason why we use the term theory is because we can add to the explanation. We can modify the explanation. But the underlying statement behind that theory will never change. Gravity is a theory. The existence of germs is a theory. Okay, the existence of atoms is a theory. No one's ever going to disprove the existence of gravity, germs, or atoms, but our understanding of them can change based on new evidence because we're constantly studying them. Okay, so that's what it means by modified. It can be modified. So let's take a look at this claim evidence reasoning video. Okay, this pretty much explains.
Writing's not that easy.
Let's skip this ad.
This sentence is grammatically correct.
Okay. Let's take a look at this video.
Claim evidence reasoning is a method of organizing scientific evidence and explanation, and it approaches the ultimate goal of science, to help explain the world around us. Claim evidence reasoning, or C.E.R., has three main components to it. The first is the claim, which answers a scientific question. Evidence uses data to support the claim or the answer to the scientific question. Typically, this evidence or data is collected by the person making the claim or supplying the scientific explanation. Reasoning is the rule or the scientific principle that describes why the evidence supports the claim or answers the scientific question. Let's look at an example to get a better idea of how claim evidence reasoning works. Let's say we start with the scientific question of, is air matter? This scientific question helps us to evaluate what is needed to answer this question. And it will most likely lead to some form of experimentation and data collection that's needed to answer this question. In this instance, it will most likely lead to an experiment to determine if air takes up space or has mass. Let's look at a possible C.E.R. or claim evidence reasoning explanation to this question, is air matter? The claim would be, air is matter. The evidence or the data from the experiment would likely be that the weight of the ball increases as more air is pumped into it. The reasoning or the scientific principle that shows how the evidence supports the claim might be, this shows that air has weight, which is one of the characteristics of matter. This C.E.R. explanation could be further expanded to include an additional evidence and additional reasoning. For example, we can include principles of how the air also takes up space, which is an additional characteristic of matter. It's important to note that the reasoning part of a C.E.R. or a claim evidence reasoning explanation is the most difficult part and typically causes the most challenge for students.
Okay, so that was the gist of claims evidence reasoning. So I want to show you another video, okay? And keep in mind this question, what happened to the cat? What happened to the cat? And then you have an assignment to complete. You're going to use the claims evidence reasoning technique to explain what you feel happened to the cat. Make a claim, back it up with some evidence, and then connect the evidence to the claim through your reasoning, okay? The reasoning just explains how the evidence backs up your claim. So let's watch this short video. What happened to the cat?
Honey, have you seen our cat? Happened to me. That's who happened.
So what did happen to the cat? What happened? So you're going to open up this assignment. Name, period, date. After we've watched the commercial, answer the following question using the C.E.R. method. What happened to the cat? Make your claim. What do you think happened? You will type what you think happened to the cat in one complete sentence. Okay? And then give evidence to support your claim. And then reasoning. Explain how your evidence supports your claim. Okay, very simple, very straightforward, claim evidence reasoning. All right, kiddos, so go ahead and get that turned in, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.